Hello, I'm Granville Emerson, and welcome to Lidline Sports with my co-host, Seattle sports enthusiasm is what you have, Renault Pepe Bean.
What's happening?
Another day in the life, bruh. Another day in the life. These NBA playoffs. LeBron pulled a James Harden the other night. Disappeared in their 111-108 loss to the Celtics.
Right.
We'll talk about that and more NBA shenanigans. And we'll also talk NFL football and the Seahawks DBs specifically.
All right.
Will this be with their new picks, LOB, Legion of Boom 2.0? Maybe we'll talk a little baseball. I know you're interested in talking about the M's. You went to the M's game the other night.
Right.
We'll talk about that too. Hopefully, if we get to it, you know how it goes.
Yes, I do.
But we are sure going to select our picks. Who'd be our pick for each team
Right.
for the first 10 picks? We'll flip a coin to see who gets the first pick.
Okay.
Or rock, paper, scissors, whatever. If you got a coin? I don't know if I got a coin.
I don't care.
Who has a coin these days except for the referee?
I don't know. Can we flip an ATM card?
Except for the NFL referee.
Will that work?
We'll go rock, paper, scissors. That settles everything all the time. And then we'll make our choices for the draft. The big story today is Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett is getting much flack. They wrote an article about him in the Seattle Times.
Right.
Saying that he was immature.
Uh-oh.
This writer, Matt Calkin, said that Bennett does a lot in the community, and he is a great football player, and that he does a great job being interviewed, and they love interviewing him, but he has these bouts of immaturity.
Like what?
Like at the end of the Falcons game, in the when they were in the victory formation, smashing a dude in front of him, going off on reporters. He once went off on a reporter who asked him a question after the game that Bennett didn't agree with. That
you know what? That's not immaturity. That's just emotion.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that. I really don't understand why the guy even wrote the article. I felt like you're just trying to have something to write about.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I felt.
He had nothing else, so he went with that.
But it's made national headlines. USA Today, AP, The Root, which is a black publication, and of course race got thrown into it.
Doesn't it always?
Saying that the guy was basically criticizing Michael Bennett, saying that Michael Bennett just needed to stick to football, and that he kind of alluded to his political stance,
right? Well, that's silly.
With Black Lives Matter and all that. I thought it was silly too, but it's a big brouhaha, and I'm listening to other radio sports talk about it, and I have just come to the conclusion now that some white people just don't understand the struggle of black people.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying all white people. No. Hear me clearly. And I'll say this, and this is as political as I'm going to get, that white people are not the enemy of black people, but racism always is.
That's correct.
So we kind of have, as entertainers and athletes and public figures, a kind of position that we must take with our platform sometimes to get our issues across, to speak for those who can't speak for themselves.
Right.
Right? And I believe that's what Michael Bennett does. And then also too, if you're playing NFL football on the highest level, you cannot stick a microphone in a guy's face at the end of a game, especially a highly charged game that they either won or just lost. They're liable to tell you anything.
Anything.
It's kind of like a husband and wife argument. Right? Husband and wives get mad at each other, and you might say anything in the heat of the battle.
Right.
But hopefully you really don't mean it.
Those reporters, they thrive on that. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. So they need to squash that. It stemmed from, I don't know if you saw the beef between Michael Bennett and Stephen A. Smith from ESPN.
Right.
Your thoughts?
Well, Bennett called Stephen A. weak for his comments. And, Stephen A. said that he didn't say anything offensive, so he didn't feel that he needed to call Bennett to explain to him or tell him what he was going to do or what he was going to say. Because he said, because Bennett had backed up Colin Kaepernick and said that he would be a perfect fit for Seattle. And so Stephen A. Pretty much dismissed that and said, well, you're backing him up, but, Colin Kaepernick is not a martyr. So that's what set Bennett off.
Yeah, and he also had the nerve to say that Bennett shouldn't be siding with Colin Kaepernick because Colin Kaepernick didn't vote.
Right.
I'm like, what? And he's like, well, if you're going to take a stand like Colin Kaepernick did, at least you should vote. Well, everybody has the right to vote or not to vote.
Or not to vote.
Right?
And who do you know? How do you know who voted and who didn't?
Well, Kaepernick, I guess, was asked.
Well, he said we know that he didn't.
Yeah.
But, I mean, seriously, how do you know that certain athletes did or did not, whether they say so or they don't say so?
I believe everybody should vote, and I believe that everybody should have and understand the sacrifices people have made to vote. But if you don't vote, that's your choice. Right? So let's look at the man's whole body of work, and that's what Michael Bennett was saying to Stephen A. Smith. But what about, have you heard about this James Harden deal where he's supposed to be a hitman now?
Yeah, this is actually months old. Apparently, Moses Malone Jr.
It's months old, but Moses Malone Jr. just filed a $1 million lawsuit.
Right. Yeah, but I'm saying the incident happened months ago. Moses Malone Jr. got jumped at a club or outside a club, and he's accusing Harden and his boys of robbing him. Yeah,
and he's accusing Harden of putting a $20,000 bounty on his head,
right,
for someone to beat him up and rob him, and which is what actually happened.
Yes,
and so it'll be really interesting to see if this actually goes to court.
Right.
If there's a settlement between Harden and Moses Malone Jr., does that prove guilt that Harden had something to do with it? If it does go to court and Harden is found guilty, what does the league do about it?
Right.
And do to Harden.
Yes.
And how does that affect his career going forward? These guys, man, they got too much money to throw around to pay somebody $20,000 to beat somebody up.
With Moses Malone Jr. anyway?
Everything, Pep, pretty much boils down to one of two things: money or women.
There you go.
And I think it was the latter.
Yes.
So, speaking of money, Mayweather, is he ducking Colin McGregor? Because Colin McGregor signed a deal with Dana White in the UFC that allows him to fight Floyd Mayweather. And then he told Mayweather, I've signed on the line, bruh. Put your signature where your mouth is, but Floyd hasn't done it yet.
I don't know why not. Why not? Just get it over with. Fight the man. It's to your advantage anyway.
He's already said, Floyd Mayweather has already said that there's nobody out there that he needs to fight or should fight but McGregor.
Right.
But he hasn't signed on to fight him yet.
What does that mean?
Well, I guess it boils down to the money.
There you go.
And how much he's going to get for it. And Dana White, the president of the Ultimate Fighting Championships, has said that he's going to meet soon with Money Mayweather to try to hammer out a deal to get that fight done. And I said before on the broadcast that there is too much money out there on the table for either one of them to say no to.
Right.
And so it'll be by far Conor McGregor's biggest payday to get knocked out.
Yeah, because it's Mayweather's advantage no matter what.
He might be one of Floyd's few knockouts.
Right.
Because Floyd really doesn't knock anybody out. But unless Floyd gets hit with a roundhouse kick. What?
I mean, is that so he could do that? I mean, that they're not just boxing; they're going to have a.
You know what? I don't know what the terms are.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know.
Well,
I thought it was pure boxing.
If it's pure boxing, he's gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's gonna get destroyed. Okay. Yeah. He's gonna get destroyed. The Mariners. You went to the Mariners game the other night. How was it? Give us a little background.
Okay. Well,
it was nice in the park. Sunny day.
Safeco is awesome. Yeah. It's a nice park. The food is good. Man, the food. Whoa, it's good. But the team, not good.
Well, basically, come on, Pep. I mean, it's really like Seattle Rainiers North.
Right. I mean, well, let me tell you this. The Chicago White Sox came in here for a 4-game set. The White Sox are mediocre, middle-of-the-road team at best. And they came in and took 3 out of 4. And the last 2, they pretty much blew them out. Well, they did blow them out. The first blowout was 16-1. And the very next night, the final was, 8-1, 8-2, whatever. My problem is, everybody gets blown out in this, during the season. Everybody. You get a stinker, 19-2, whatever. But it seems like every time that a team that gets like 16, 15 runs, the next night they have trouble scoring. It's just the way, somehow, I don't know why, but that's just the way it happens. But not this time. The White Sox came out with, well, first of all, the Mariners had a pitcher they brought up from the minor leagues, and he commences to walk, the bases loaded, first thing, right off the bat, first inning, and bam, 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 it's 5-0. Lights out. It was done. It was a done deal. You could see from the tone of the game, it was over.
Well, they are soon to get Felix back, Robinson Cano. Who else is out? They should be. Haniger. They're supposed to be getting all of those guys back.
I got a laundry list.
In this 10-game stretch that they're about to go on. Most of those games on the road.
Right.
They're in last place.
Right, and they got to play D.C. and then play Boston and places they don't play well in.
Well, keeping our eyes on the Mariners and see if they can pick it up. Once they get everybody back,
well,
healthy.
I'm skeptical on that because they started off 2-8 with everybody there. So
yeah, but I didn't put any stock in that because they needed to be able to, sometimes you just have a slow start and you get going. They got their bats going, and now if they get their bats going and their pitching going, they'll be able to climb up a little bit. So I'm not giving up on them yet in May, but if it gets to July and everything's still the same, it's over.
Okay.
All right. LOB, the Legion of Boom 2.0. Much has been talked about. The rookie, Shaquille Griffin, who is poised to start at corner opposite Richard Sherman. But there's other DBs that have been drafted, along with former Tampa Bay safety Bradley McDougal, which makes this a newly revamped secondary.
That Aaron Rodgers is still licking his chops for Game 1.
He may be licking his chops for Game 1, but I'm really thinking that these dudes are going to really come around and be really, really good picks for the Seahawks. I'm actually excited about it. I'm excited about Griffin. I'm excited about his speed. I'm excited about his ball hawking skills. If he can play good at that corner opposite Richard Sherman, that's going to make us formidable.
Yeah, and they've hit home runs on DBs over the years, in the secondary.
Yeah.
So, I don't see why they can't do it again.
Of course, we need Earl to come back 100.
Absolutely. That was a freak injury that he had.
We need
ran into his own man. I mean,
that happens.
It does.
That's friendly fire.
Right.
Right?
And he ran the Cam, of all guys.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we need Cam to get back to being Bam Bam Cam that intimidated everybody in the league. Matter of fact, the Seahawks need to re-up his contract.
Right.
That's the first thing they need to do before the season starts. Get that out of the way so that's not hanging over his head.
Yes.
And then he needs to go play and dominate like we've seen him dominate. I think he is the real key to our defense in terms of its intimidation factor. Earl is the key to our defense because of his speed and his ability to cover sideline to sideline.
Correct.
And that prohibits that deep ball when guys are afraid to throw that deep ball because they know Earl is back there. Because you see when he went out last year, they was just they were just going at us.
And when Cam was out, the Seahawks had problems.
Yeah, we need both of them, and we need Sherman to get back to his all-pro level.
Yeah, they started throwing his way after avoiding them for a while, but they became, they were getting success out of it. So, he's got to get back in the groove as well. But supposedly Chris Richard says that Sherman has a new attitude and will be ready to go. So we'll find out.
Well, we need him to have a new attitude and a brand new game.
That's for sure.
that is better than his best. That's what we really need. I'm excited about the new guys. I'm excited about Delano Hill, the safety from Michigan. All of these guys, the good thing about them is they are all like 6'1".
Yes.
And they're all fast.
Yes, all the stuff, all the type that the Seahawk brass likes. And also they have formed a bond already. I've been told during rookie camp that after the mini camp, they were all hanging out together. So they're really trying to form that bond and get that groove going.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is they have the example of the original Legion of Boom and how their bond is really tight.
Yeah.
And hopefully the veterans are able to bring them along fast because of that tight bond and their work ethic.
Yeah.
I felt like, speaking of tight bond, I want to get your opinion on it. I felt like their bond was stressed when Cam held out.
Yes, definitely.
And I felt like they hadn't gotten back to the tightness as a group that they had before Cam's holdout.
And some strife in the locker room, sideline, antics also during the season last year.
Yeah, you're trying to say when Richard Sherman became uncoachable?
Hey, yeah. Did I say that?
That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
He was on the sidelines like, this is my team. This is my game. This is all about me.
Right.
Don't tell me what I did wrong. You was wrong, Richard.
Yeah.
Everybody on the sidelines is telling you wrong. That's why they had you in the middle of the circle. They was all jumping up and down, trying to fire you up. And so
get you going.
Yeah. So I'm hoping and thinking that this is the year, and there's some wisdom behind Pete Carroll's competition theory.
Right.
Okay. So you see what Pete did, Pep. You had Earl hurt. You had Cam that hasn't came back to the level of Cam. You had Richard Sherman that did not have a stellar Richard Sherman year.
No, he didn't.
They talked about trading him in the offseason.
Yes.
Right? Which was crazy, and everybody knew that they weren't going to trade him, but they pulled that weight. Like, nobody's not expendable, Richard.
That's right.
Right? If you don't get your act together,
wake up.
You will find yourself maybe like in Buffalo or Cleveland.
Oh.
Yeah. Nobody wants to go there. So, Sherman, Cam, Earl, I think that they were served notice that we're bringing in these young dudes These young dudes are coming in like they came in. Hungry, ready to eat.
Yes.
Right? And so it's going to be interesting, to see. I think it picks them all up. I think I think they're not going to want to let none of these young dudes come in and take their spots. Tedrick Thompson out of Colorado.
Yes.
Great ball skills. Another dude, 6'1", that runs.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Not Iron Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson played safety at Cincinnati. They're going to move him to defensive back.
Right.
And try to work him at defensive back. Put him and Tedrick Thompson and Bradley McDougal in nickel situations, double nickel situations. I read that last year they had 800 snaps where they ran nickel or double nickel. And so I like what Pete Carroll's doing defensively. He's drafted players that have their own kind of style and fit a niche, and he's going to plug them in and create a defensive scheme that emphasizes their strength.
Right. And they're all hard hitters.
Yeah. And so I'm excited. I'm excited about the season. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Yes.
I'm excited to see what they all look like individually, what they look like collectively, and I think that a great portion of the success of our defensive backs depends on our pass rush.
Definitely. Yes. You hit it on the head right there, bro.
Because last year we did not get to the passer.
No. At all. Hardly at all. And they were just having a cup of coffee, eating some chicken, whatever, slinging it.
Yeah, not according to the way that we normally get to the passer.
Right.
Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill, Malik McDowell, Frank Clark,
Nazir
Jones, Atuba Rubin.
Yes.
Our front line is formidable. It's strong. It's fast. It's versatile.
Yeah.
Guys will be able to get rest. And so this is what I am predicting. I'm predicting that we go back to the LOB that led the league in takeaways.
Yes. I like that. They need that. That's their forte.
Yes.
That was the Seahawks' forte for several years.
Yes.
Takeaways. They capitalized on other teams' mistakes, and they would just roll with it. They just keep going.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing, and all these guys, all of them now, they all possess ball hawking skills.
Yes.
They're all fast. They all can hit. I remember, I want to say the year we didn't win the Super Bowl, we played the Rams at CenturyLink.
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen a team so intimidated in my life. Not since I played at Rainier Playfield.
At a high level.
At a high level. you know, we were whooping on some people.
That's right.
When we played at Rainier, except for maybe Univac. They were tough. But I had never seen a team so intimidated by our defense. I remember it was a TV timeout, and our defense was jumping up and down, doing their thing, the whole defense during the whole commercial timeout.
Right.
And the Rams looked like a college team. They were, I've never seen a team look scared. I'm like, these dudes, you could visibly look at them and say, these dudes are done.
Yeah, they didn't want to be there.
They were done.
They wanted no part of it.
So I'm looking forward to seeing us get back to that. Get back to those days where we are dominating other teams on defense.
Ball.
That CenturyLink is rocking.
Yeah.
That the noise is deafening, and our defense is just clocking people, and the quarterback is nervous, and he's throwing the ball up in the air, and we're picking it and running it back to the end zone and giving our offense points.
Right.
That our defense creates points.
And field position.
And field position. Field position is what we really want. Points is the bonus. And we're looking forward to, I think that's what really makes us a Super Bowl favorite, is when we turn other teams over for points on a consistent basis,
right.
That we create offense with our defense. And I believe that also brings Russell Wilson's interceptions down.
Yes.
So he doesn't have to try to force the ball down the field
right.
So much to get us back in games or to try to win a game. And hopefully we won't have to come from behind so much. So the Legion of Boom, we are looking forward to Legion of Boom 2.0 with Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Deshaun Shedd when he comes back, and this guy Nico Thorpe, who's been in the league for 5 years. He's a special teams killer. They signed him specifically for that, but they're looking for him to challenge at the defensive back position. When we come back, we'll talk NBA basketball right here on Lidline Sports, right after this short break. Welcome back to Lidline Sports. I'm Granville Emerson with my partner, Renault Pepe Bean.
Hey.
Some are saying that this NBA playoffs are the worst ever.
That's strong.
The worst ever.
The worst? For really real?
For really real. All these blowouts. Boston getting beat by 44 points.
Yes. Down by what? 40 at halftime?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. However,
they only scored like 36, 31 points.
72-31 at the half.
Yeah, and so people are mad about it, and Kevin Durant said, well, if you don't like blowouts in the NBA, don't watch it.
Well, the NBA is not thrilled with that statement.
I was like, that's why I ain't watching it.
Exactly. I don't need reminders.
I was just glad that I looked and saw that the Game 3 of the Celtics-Cavaliers series was close and watched the last 8 minutes.
Right.
That was a good game. LeBron, I don't know. Well, I mean, they're saying everybody deserves to have a bad game. Well, I don't know about deserves, but everybody's going to have a bad game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I cannot understand. I can understand having a bad game, but I cannot understand LeBron having 1 point, like in the fourth quarter. Like
that's
like I understand having a bad game. I mean, I guess sometimes.
But you know what? They still should have won. Kevin Love was on fire. He was hitting. They had 16-point lead at halftime. They were up 21 in the third quarter.
Kevin and Kyrie, 28 and 29 points.
Yeah. They still should have won.
They balled out, but I want to stick on LeBron for a second.
Okay.
Because I'm just trying to wrap my head around how that can happen to LeBron, and I feel like just the 8 minutes that I watched, there was either two things going on. Either the fix was on, or his whole body clock was out of sync. Because he was throwing the ball out of bounds, like in the clutch,
right.
with them, I think, up like one. He just threw the ball out, of bounds. I was like, what
is this?
And so, I'm trying to think. I'm like,
he's got a twin brother we don't know about?
No, but I'm thinking, I'm like, where have I seen this before? Well, when you watch players closely and players get into the championships a lot and get into the playoffs a lot, you see them have bad games.
Yes.
I remember Magic Johnson doing the same thing. I'm like, Magic, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
The 84 Boston series?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
So,
he was throwing the ball. He was
he was horrible.
I thought he was a baker because he had so many turnovers.
Yeah, he was just horrible. So I guess it's just natural. Like everybody has bad days,
Right.
right? I mean,
Now was LeBron affected by the fact that the top three candidates for the MVP, and he was not one of them? It was Russell, Westbrook, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard. So they're saying that, well, LeBron was snubbed. Was he? And was he affected by that?
I don't know if LeBron was affected by that, but I can't imagine him being that fragile.
Well, I couldn't either, but the evidence seemed to be there the other day.
Well, the other side of that is, if he was upset by it, wouldn't he go out and try to prove that he needed to be?
Well, some people get affected different ways. Like, remember when they were saying that Kobe wasn't passing? So what did he do his next game? He didn't shoot. All he did was pass.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I mean, it's like the thumb in your mouth syndrome in the corner. It's like, well, I'm just gonna take my ball and go away. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why LeBron played the way he did, but like I said before, the Cavs still should have won that game regardless. They should have picked him up. They let him down, actually, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, I guess so. But they let him down, but he had a couple crucial turnovers.
Well, he did,
down
but he's still the guy.
At the end of the game, that did not help, and actually gave the Celtics the lead. And then Marcus Smart was giving them the business.
He was.
I mean, Marcus Smart was playing like, y'all ain't trying to get rid of me.
Well, you know what? No IT. He had to put it all out there, and I'd give him credit for doing it.
Yeah. How about that Avery Bradley shot to win it?
Yeah. In, out, back in. That was, wow, soft touch,
The cold piece of that is like, there's always been this legend about the Celtic leprechaun.
Yeah. Don Nelson in 1969 at Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The ball bounces way up in the air and drops right in the hoop.
So the thing with Bradley's shot is it bounced around so long and went through the hoop and only left like 0.1 seconds left.
Right.
I mean, if it had went straight in, they might have had like 2 seconds.
Yes.
Or a second and a half or something.
But they had no chance.
I couldn't figure out why they didn't call timeout and move the ball to half court.
They didn't?
No.
Oh.
They didn't do that. Neither did they have the referee review to see how much time was really actually on the clock.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, Tyronn Lue, what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
I told you that dude wasn't doing nothing but subbing. He ain't doing no coaching over there.
Right.
Because if he was doing some coaching, he would have had them review the clock, made sure that the time was correct, and then called the timeout and moved it to half court, where only you can do that in the NBA. There's no other basketball that you can do that. And every other level of basketball, whether it's high school or college, you wish you could do that.
Yes.
In those situations, but you can't. So I don't know. I don't understand what happened with that. Golden State Spurs done deal. Basically,
Yeah.
it's over.
Yeah, I mean,
Sweep.
no Kawhi, no Parker, no shot. And then, Aldridge is playing. He hasn't stepped up his game, and Gasol is like, I don't know what's wrong with him. Is he washed up? I mean, he's not helping. And you know what? And that's a team you should be dominating against. Golden State doesn't have a big man that can really stop anybody. I mean, Draymond is a good defender. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a shot blocking demon. He's not going to be sitting back there just tearing everybody up that comes in. Gasol should be posting up. Aldridge should be posting up, but they're not doing it.
Yeah, they even have JaVale McGee out there looking like he's good.
Yeah, he had 14 the other night.
I
You know, it was like,
I mean, JaVale McGee, he all right, but he was out there looking like he's actually really good. I'm like, what in the world is going on? L.A. his stock is just dropped.
Like it's hot.
I was seeing folks on social media just ripping him up. Talking about, we're glad he didn't come to the Lakers. I'm like, dang. So kind of validates my talk before when I was saying that Kawhi didn't have much help. Now we see that he really doesn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so
I thought Aldridge would help. I did. You know, I said so. I thought LA would do something, but you know, when your big star goes out, everybody's got to rally around, step up, like Boston did the other night. Marcus Smart, IT was gone. He stepped up.
He stepped up big.
Huge.
I mean, he hit like 5 threes.
Yeah.
Like
he had 27.
Yeah, he was balling. And so kudos to Marcus Smart, though, because we talk about criticisms and what have you. I know after the Celtics got the #1 pick, and there was a whole lot of talk about what they were going to do with the #1 pick and what they would do with their guard situation. And he seemed to be the odd man out.
Right.
And so he was saying, well, okay, if I'm the odd man out, I'm about to raise my stock.
Yeah, and I'll showcase.
Yeah, and he showcased his game in Game 3. And so giving props to Marcus Smart for that, and props to the Celtics. I thought they showed a whole lot of heart, because after getting beat down, the way that they got beat down in Game 2, they could have easily folded the tent.
Bro, they were down 21 in the third quarter in Game 3. I mean, they definitely could have folded up the tent, but they said, you know what? No.
I had heard that they were down 21, and I was like,
it's over.
I wasn't even interested in watching it, and then just somehow I found out that the game had suddenly got close. I don't know how, but it was close, and so I tuned it in and sat there and watched the last 8 minutes. It was, you know, it was good. It was good to see a close game. I mean, as a fan, you watch games. I can't watch blowouts. I mean, like,
right.
It's just like, why? I got too much to do in my life, I guess, to sit up there and watch a blowout. Like,
yeah. Well, Cavs got sloppy, you know, with the big lead, and then they got, you know, the Celtics got it going. Smart got hot. Bradley was getting heated up. So, you know, once you let a team get back in and get confidence, every shot they take, they think they're going to make.
Yeah, that is true. So, Cleveland and Golden State in the finals. Still for the third time, the rubber match.
Right.
To see who will go up 2-1. The two best teams in the league meeting in the championship series. Long layoff until that happens.
Definitely.
I think they have at least 6 or 7 days now before that happens. There's nothing like when football season is over and basketball season is ended. You're trying to look around for some sports to watch on TV. It becomes difficult. But we are looking forward to the NBA Finals to see if the Golden State Warriors can go up 2-1 in that championship series, or if LeBron can get his, what would this be, his 4th ring?
Fifth, I think.
5th ring?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, 5th.
And, you know, the Cavs, when they lost to the Warriors the first time, you know, they could say because Kyrie was out. And then last year, when the Warriors blew that 3-1 lead, well, Draymond kind of messed that up for them. So now everybody's pretty much okay. Now we see what happens in the third matchup. No excuses.
Well, we alluded to earlier that we were going to do our own Lidline Sports mock draft of the NBA. And so we do have a coin right here.
Okay.
Call it in the air.
Tails.
And it is heads.
All right. So you got the first pick.
I get the first pick in the draft.
Can we make a trade? Or we just drafting straight up?
We're just drafting straight up.
Okay.
We're just drafting straight up. So I get the first pick in the draft. I am the Boston Celtics. On the clock, Boston Celtics. We're going in draft order. Okay?
Gotcha.
Going in draft order. I'm the Boston Celtics. I'm taking Lonzo Ball.
Whoa.
And LeVar.
Curveball.
I'm taking Lonzo Ball. You know why I'm taking Lonzo Ball? Because Lonzo Ball is a playmaker extraordinaire.
Okay.
Playmaker extraordinaire. And so I believe that he is a once-in-a-decade talent.
Yes.
And so I cannot pass up that once-in-a-decade talent.
All right.
And I've had a chance to watch Markelle Fultz. I like Markelle Fultz. I was impressed with Markelle Fultz's game. But I did not see Markelle Fultz will his team to one win.
Right.
So I can't take him. I have to take LeVar Ball. LeVar Ball. Well, I guess if you take Lonzo, you're going to get LeVar Ball.
Yeah, what's the difference, right?
And so,
oh, man.
And so I have to take him. And then, that I just feel like that he's going to be the best player in the draft.
Okay.
And now you're on the clock with?
With the number 2 pick, Laker fans, don't fret, because I'm taking Markelle Fultz.
Markelle Fultz to the Lakers.
To the Lakers.
And why Fultz to the Lakers?
Well, Markelle Fultz has similar skills. He's a deep shooter. He can stretch you. He can take the ball to the hole, and he can pass, of course. He can set up his teammates. So he's to me, he's probably the best point guard there right now. But I can see the case for Lonzo going number 1, so I won't dispute that. But the Lakers should be happy if they end up with Markelle Fultz, and in the long run, they might be happier.
Okay. Before we go on, we picked the first 2 picks in the draft. Before we go on to the rest of the draft, I want to share with our listeners a friend, Facebook Love of Basketball group friend, legend, Husky legend, Marvin Kassim Jr. played wide receiver for the Huskies. He did this mock draft today. It was so funny. I wanted to share it with you.
Okay.
He has Boston at number 1 with Markelle Fultz. Number 2, the Lakers, Lonzo and LeVar Ball. Number 3 to the 76ers, the most seriously injured player available. Number 4 to the Suns, another Kentucky point guard. He has the Kings drafted number 5, another Kentucky big man. He has Magic drafted number 6, the best European player available. He has the Timberwolves at 7, someone stashed in Lithuania. And number 8, he has the Knicks getting, it doesn't matter because they'll already be demanding a trade. And Dallas at number 9, he has the most forgettable player in the draft. And the Sacramento Kings at 10, the player that's guaranteed to be a bust.
Oh, that's a good draft.
Yeah, let me finish him out here. He has 14 listed. I don't know why he didn't go to 15.
Okay. Well, I think the first 14 are
the lottery. Okay, that's what it is. All right. So the Hornets, best white player in the draft. The Pistons, great defensive player, terrible scorer. 13, the Nuggets, surprisingly most underrated player in whole draft. And number 14, Miami, the NCAA champions, best player. And he said, y'all can thank him later for that.
Okay, that's good. I liked it.
Yeah, that's pretty good, wasn't it?
Some good stuff.
That's pretty good.
Yes, sir.
So, with the number 3 pick in the Lidline Sports draft, I'm going to take Josh Jackson from Kansas.
No surprise.
Josh Jackson. I think Josh Jackson is the overall third best player in the draft and maybe has the biggest upside of them all. I have no idea how good Josh Jackson is going to be.
Right.
And I really believe that he can be a star
Yes.
in the NBA. He's got everything that you want in a forward. He's fast. He can run. He can shoot. He plays defense. I think all he needs is playing time in the NBA.
Hey, I won't argue with you.
You're up next, number 4 with the Suns.
Number 4, I'm going to go with De'Aaron Fox out of the University of Kentucky, point guard.
Fox. Okay. Why Fox? Why not Dennis Smith Jr.?
I like Dennis Smith Jr., but right now I think Fox has a huge upside. He's 6'3", wiry. He's got to work on his shooting. His shooting is not there yet, but he's young. He's only just out of high school, basically, 1 year out of high school, so that'll come. He's fast. He's got defensive skills that you like, especially out of that kind of body that he has. He should be able to lock up some points, some other guards. So I really like this kid. And what I like most about him is his confidence, because he feels he's the best player in the draft. And he doesn't feel that way because he's just saying that. He believes it.
Right. Okay, so the Kansas City Kings. Nate Tiny Archibald.
Oh, yes, Sam Lacey. Otis Birdsong. I can name drop now.
Yeah. With the 5th pick to the Kansas City, why do I keep saying Kansas City? To the Kansas City Omaha Kings.
Right.
To the Sacramento Kings. Since I watched them play 2 games live, looking at what they need, I would have taken De'Aaron Fox because they definitely need a point guard. But they also need a really good forward. And so I'm going to go with Jason Tatum from Duke.
No surprise.
No surprise there?
No.
Okay.
Because he was in the top 4 anyway.
Okay.
So.
Okay, going with Jason Tatum from Duke. My only hesitation with that pick, Pep, is by and large Duke players don't pan out in the NBA.
That's true.
Right?
There's a few exceptions, Grant Hill, of course, but for the most part, you're spot on that one.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that he will go the other way and buck that Duke NBA curse and be more like Elton Brand. Did Elton Brand go to Duke?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Elton Brand played for the Clippers. Very, very good pro all-star. I'm hoping that Jason Tatum can do that. And my problem with the Sacramento Kings is they draft well. They just let everybody go.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you try to keep some players and you might have a squad. So you're up next with the
Orlando
Magic.
Well, they're not happy with Elfrid Payton, and with good reason, because he's just not very good. So I'm going to take a point guard. Now, everybody's talking about Frank Ntilikina from France. I'm not picking a guy that's been averaging 7 points a game in the EuroLeague.
He's got a 7'6" wingspan.
Right, but you know he scored 31 points in the championship game, and everybody's going crazy. But I'm taking Dennis Smith Jr. out of North Carolina State.
Good pick. Good pick. All right, so Timberwolves at number 7. I'm taking Malik Monk. I'm taking Malik Monk out of Kentucky.
That would be George Gervin 2.
Yeah. Your pick?
The Knicks, I'll take Harry Giles out of Duke. Another Blue Devil.
All right, number 9, the Mavericks. I'm going to go He's not projected that high, but I'm going to take Justin Jackson out of North Carolina.
Right. That's one of my guys who I really like. And for the number 10 pick, the Sacramento Kings will take Jonathan Isaac, forward out of Florida State. He's a projected top 5 pick, and he slips all the way down to 10. I'm going to grab him.
All right, folks, that's the Lidline Sports Top 10 mock draft from Granville Emerson and Renault Pepe Bean. What's going down in the town, Pep?
Well, let's see. Sounders finally won.
I heard they had a must-win.
It was, and they pretty much dominated, especially that first half. They won the game 1-0, but it should have been 3 or 4-0. They still miss so many opportunities to score, and you keep doing that, it's going to bite you. It's already bitten them a few times so far, and if they continue on this path, it's going to continue to hurt them. I'm happy. RSL really didn't come to play, except for the last maybe 20 minutes out of desperation. But really, 1-0 is nothing to celebrate.
I want to give a big shout out to Garfield's girls track team for winning the Metro and District State Championship, especially Lyric Harris, who won the triple jump. Lyric's brother Javin is currently jumping for Washington State and also won the district triple jump, which all started with their daddy, Alvin Harris, a good friend of mine that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. And so it's good to see. It's amazing how the genes travel.
Jumping at a high level.
Right? They're a family of jumpers. The Harris family of jumpers.
Wow.
And
Harris Hoppers.
Yeah, and so he's put all of his kids in that, and so now I always say all the time, man, as much as college costs now, to get a college scholarship is huge. So
that's the goal. I tell young kids, young guys, especially that are exceptional in sports, your goal is to get a scholarship. Anything after that is gravy.
Absolutely. We wholeheartedly concur with that. This weekend in AAU basketball was crazy.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if it was the heat or what, but there were like fights like at almost every gym.
Fights?
Yes, there were players beefing with parents and coaches beefing with coaches and coaches beefing with players. And
that's never good to see.
No, I'm like, what? First of all, you play 3,000 games in the spring and summer. Mm-hmm. So why are you all so worked up about a game?
Right.
Right.
One of many.
One of many that doesn't amount to anything that you want to fight.
No.
Right? And kids are so disrespectful. A kid told a parent to shut his black ass up. Is that crazy?
That is super crazy.
That is crazy. And I'm like, I told the coach, man, you need to get your kids together, man. That cannot happen. That absolutely cannot happen. And it was a white kid saying it to a black guy, which could have been really, really, oh, wow. Anyway, let there be peace on earth and goodwill toward men.
Amen.
On behalf of Renault Pepe Bean, I'm Granville Emerson. Thank you for listening to Lidline Sports. You can listen to Lidline Sports on Facebook, YouTube, and find us on Twitter at Lidline Sports. Join us again next week for more great sports talk radio on Lidline Sports. Sports as we see it from just
below our lids.
Excellent.
So